Yo, what's going on, everybody? It should be a while between the game sports. Welcome in. Man, I had to get in on this topic because there were plenty of folks who are talking about this situation and Mr. Nugget, Mr. Deion Warren. There are some folks out there in the world right now who are trying to say he should transfer. And if you've been paying attention to Jackson State, and before I get started with that, man, let me appreciate all the early birds, right? Appreciate you coming through. I know y'all at work, whatever it may be, but appreciate you coming through. As always, make yourself known in the comments. Make yourself known in the comments so we can get right into it. But yeah, man, there are folks out there who are basically saying that this young man should transfer. And it's a question, kind of to be had. Some folks might want to be pushing the narrative, man. You know how it goes in the sports world, man. Anything can come up. But, the Swac fans and the Jackson State fans have taken notice that this young man has not been on the field quite as much as they would like him to be. And we know this young man last year was playing a whole bunch. Highly recruited, the number one JUCO cornerback in the nation, had offers from everywhere. He was pretty much locked in to go to Georgia. Then things changed. Coach Prom got him over there. They've been working some things out. Now, I don't know what's going on with him internally. There might be some study hall issues. I spoke about this on one of my previous lives. Might be some grade issues, whatever it may be. Or he just might not be getting the job done, right? Let me get to one of these comments. Felicia Catching says, no, I think he should stay and continue to grow and being developed by the best. It's a process, the way of diamonds, butterflies, and gold. Stay in the fire until it comes to this fourth shining. Absolutely right. But we know in today's culture, the transfer portal is something that's just so easily accessible for these young men and young women. You have to kind of consider it if you are Mr. Nugget, right? You're not getting the playing time you desire. You're not getting the accolades you desire. Your goal is ultimately, and I'm just projecting here, that he wants to make it to the NFL, right? His goal is more than likely he wants to make it to the NFL, but how can you get to the NFL when you're not getting any tick, when you're not getting any film? Scouts cannot see you play. So I don't know what's going on internally. Somebody in the comments, if you do know, please put it up so we can kind of get to it. But I would say this. Coach Prom and Jackson State, they have a plethora of defensive players. And if you saw the Swac press conference earlier today when he's speaking about they're missing 3 starters on the defensive side of things, right? Travis Hunter is going to be out. That's breaking news. He's going to be out for the Grambling State game. He would not be playing. Coach Prom said that he wants to give y'all the full Travis Hunter experience, so he would not be playing against Grambling. Which is unfortunate, but you got to take your time with, I think it's an ankle injury, and then high ankle sprains can last, months. I still have nightmares about twisting my ankle in college, which is really crazy. I've been dealing with college sports for years. But again, appreciate y'all coming through. Usually don't get in this early with this type of stuff, but I felt like it was warranted to talk about. So I will ask y'all, do y'all feel like this young man should transfer? He's not getting the playing time. He's not getting the recognition he's supposed to get. I don't think he's recorded a tackle on the season. So it has to play on your mental state of mind. You're going through some things like, man, what am I doing wrong? Again, I don't know what's happening internally. Could be a grade issue, could be a discipline issue. And I'm going to bring up a video by one of the most famous women's college basketball coaches, and he talks about how he handles attitudes. How he handles attitudes. And if your attitude is not right, he's not going to put you on the field. He said he doesn't care. He's not going to put you on the court. He doesn't care how good of a person you are, how good of a player you are. So I'm going to bring that video up in a little bit, but I'm going through my little spiel here. I just want to know, like, the transfer portal, I love it because it gives kids a chance to go play right away. But it also gives kids an easy way out. A very, very easy way out when things aren't going their way, when they don't have the resiliency to fight through and battle. That's the kind of stuff. That's the negative side of things for me with the transfer portal. Shout out to Veronica here. Appreciate you coming through. Smart, tough, fast, and disciplined. That's exactly what Coach Prime wants with his program. And it might not even be Coach Prime. It might be Coach Dennis Thurman, right? We know he's a hard-nosed coach for many, many years. Has knowledge on top of knowledge. So maybe Mr. Nugget is not picking up on the things his defensive coordinator is speaking out about. And then there might be some guys who might just be outperforming him at practice. Again, I don't know the current situation, but I said this in my live yesterday, actually. When you have a senior and you have a sophomore or freshman that's competing in the same position, and that freshman or sophomore is either outperforming you or playing on the same level, most coaches are going to go with the freshman or the sophomore. It makes sense in the coaching terms of things, and it sucks from the player terms of things because you're like, man, I'm a senior. I should be getting more playing time. I don't know if Warren is a senior or a junior. I really don't know. But that kind of stuff like that, it weighs on you. But I understand from a coach's perspective because I've coached kids in that same situation when I did at AAU. I had a freshman point guard and I had a junior point guard, right? And most times, my freshman point guard at the time, he started. He started because the junior point guard was not doing what I was telling him to do and getting the job done, getting guys in the right position. So I don't know what's going on with this young man's situation. But, I've seen this around the internet. Some folks hit me up. It was like, can I speak out about this? So I decided to. It is what it is. No Slack in the Swac podcast. Appreciate you coming through. It says, no, I think before we have an opinion, I believe we should find out the fact before we speak on him. Absolutely. I get what you're saying, man. I get what you're saying. It's not clickbait. It's something to be discussed, man. It's something to be discussed. It's something to be discussed because this is what we do in the small, media world or whatever it may be. In my opinion, I don't think the young man should transfer. I think he should stick it out. But I can't understand why he might want to transfer. But I think he should stick it out because you just have to go through the process, man. Everything is not easy, just like Felicia said. The way of diamonds, butterflies, and gold, stay in the fire till it comes to forth shining. Very, very correct. Very, very correct. This happens all the time. Are you tough enough to push through and persevere on certain situations that don't go right in your life? Because we're all going to go through it. And this just ain't about football. This ain't about football for me. This is about life. You might not get the job that you want, right? You might not get the girl that you want. You might not get the car that you want someday. So you have to be able to okay, I'm going to keep striving, keep working. Maybe that job wasn't good for me right then, but come back, work, interview again. You might get it the next time around. So I think this young man should stay and push through. Miak Mike says absolutely yes, definitely needs to transfer and get a fresh start. South Carolina State would be great. I bet a lot of folks over there in South Carolina State will want him over there. No slack in the Swac podcast. Maybe we should ask the coaches what's going on before we make an assumption. Not making any assumptions, my guy. Yo, Creole, I believe says I want him at JSU, but it's going to be difficult to get him drafted if he's not on the field. Yeah, I spoke about that. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard if you're not on the field. Now, one of the things that is tough for having the caliber of a Deion Sanders, right? So he got all these guys here. And this is why sometimes having too much talent can be a hindrance. Having too much talent can be a hindrance, right? You got to be able to try to get all these guys on the field because remember, every coach that recruits you will say, man, you're going to get playing time, right? You're going to get this many amount of snaps, whatever it may be. So when having too much talent sometimes, it can be a hindrance. So this might be what Coach Prime is going through, right? And at the end of the day, he might just be trying to get some of these younger guys some playing time in these earlier games, some games that he figured that they'll probably win. And then when it comes down to crunch time, you're gonna put a guy out like Mr. Nugget out there on the field because you're gonna trust him. He's been through the process. He knows what's going on. He sees a little bit more. So maybe this is a way for them to get these younger kids in on the field before things get really, really tough, before the meat of the Swac schedule will hit. So I don't know what the issue is. Aaron Sanders says, no, Nugget is fine. This is not about JSU's. It's about Nugget. He has said it himself. It's on him with his practicing and late to meetings. So Aaron Sanders, I appreciate you dropping that information. And any coach will tell you, if you're late to a meeting, you late to practice. Me and my man Hoop Jargon just dropped through. We played for a coach that you couldn't 15 minutes late. 15 minutes early was damn near being late. 15 minutes early was damn near being late. You would see basketball players sprinting across campus trying to get to practice. Dante Moore, appreciate you coming through. He'll be fine, and I think he's fine. And like I said, Aaron Sanders just dropped some very valuable information. Said he, Nugget. This is self-inflicted wounds, right? Self-inflicted wounds, and he's being late to practice. So no coach is going to allow you to continue to be late, right? Being late once, all right, cool. But being late twice, 3 times, that means you're being disrespectful to the coaching staff, Coach Prime, your teammates who are there on time because they're respecting people's time, and that's one of my biggest issues. Right, time is something that you can never get back. So when people put out the effort to be somewhere and want to be somewhere, you have to give that same type of energy, man. Because time is something that you can never get back. Mike says the process of getting splinters in your behind on the bench is not a process. If you're endeavoring to make the league, you have to start, especially at the FCS program. Yeah, but like Aaron Sanders just said, he just dropped some information. That he's been late. Aaron Sanders says, and there it is, Mr. Moore in the chat. That's Nugget's dad. Nugget is good. So appreciate you, Mr. Moore, coming through. So this was just a topic that a lot of folks across this YouTube world was jumping in on, and things of that nature, right? And some folks were saying that discipline shouldn't be an issue when you're a star player. Discipline shouldn't be an issue when you're a star player, and I beg to differ. If you don't discipline your stars, then how you think the other guys are going to react? Tankface says it's week 2, and he shared the portal. No, man. Okay, I guess you're being facetious. Guess you're being joking, all right? Nugget needs to be starting your career, I believe it. Yeah, when you're a 4-star, 5-star, yes, you deserve to be starting. But again, Coach Prime has the luxury of not having to have discipline issues. And I'm going to pull up this video by this very, very famous coach on the women's basketball level, talking about kids not showing up and being productive, having great attitude, and doing things like that. So y'all continue to hit the comments while I bring this up, so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Also, if you haven't hit that like button, please do so. And there are folks talking about this is clickbait, but it's not. It's just a question I wanted to ask. So I'm gonna bring up this video right here, and free use by my people over here at YouTube. And I will allow people to get in here on this chat in a little bit as soon as I bring this up. And it kind of relates to me saying that if you're a star player, you have to have the ability to understand what's going on, that you shouldn't get no special treatment. Um, as I bring this up, y'all listen to this Coach Gino Auriemma talking about one of his best players ever, in his program, and what he did to her. So no one is above criticism. So I'm gonna play this. I ain't got the. Hey, bring it back.
Enthusiastic kids is harder than it's ever been, because every kid watches TV and they watch.
So y'all listen to this man
the
speak
NBA,
real quick.
or they watch Major League Baseball, or they watch the NFL, whatever sport they watch, WNBA, it doesn't matter. And what they see is people just being really cool. So they think that's how they're going to act. And they haven't even figured out which foot to use as a pivot foot, and they're going to act like they're really good players. You see it all the time. You see it at every AAU tournament. You see it every high school game. So recruiting kids that are like really upbeat and loving life and love the game and have this.
So I ask y'all this question: doesn't this sound like somebody's coach right now? Doesn't this sound like the coach of Jackson State recruiting kids who love the game, recruiting kids who are disciplined, recruiting kids who are smart, who are doing things the right way? So doesn't this sound like Coach Prime right now? I'm just throwing it out there. Out there. And here's Coach Auriemma, who's coached the best of players in the WNBA and women's college basketball. And this is his philosophy.
Tremendous appreciation for when their teammates do something well. That's hard. It's really hard. So on our team, me, my coaching staff, we put a huge premium on body language. And if your body language is bad, you will never get in the game.
So, body language. And this is kind of goes into what I've said with coaches when I'm trying to spread information to young kids, young players, and parents. Your body language says a lot about you, and he's going to go more into it about this. But this all kind of relates back to what I'm saying with Mr. Nugget. And then somebody said his father was in here, and he can kind of confirm things. And Obi Washington says, I heard he's having personal problems on the field. And besides, if he goes somewhere else, first question is, you can't start for the greatest. Why we need you? That kid can start anywhere he wants. He's that good, right? He's that good. That kid can start anywhere he wants. He can start anywhere he wants. And Aaron Sanders basically said he was late to meetings. If y'all missed the comments, right? And those who are just coming in here, my initial thoughts is this kid should not transfer, and I didn't know what was going on. I was speculating. I didn't say anything negative about the young man. I think he should stick it out, get through it, work through it, because this is life. This is not just about football. The things happen. I'll get back to the comments in a second.
I don't care how good you are. If somebody says, well, you just benched Stewie for, 35 minutes in the Memphis game a couple of years ago. Yeah, I did. Oh, that was to motivate her for the South Carolina game following Monday. No, it wasn't. Stewie was acting like a 12-year-old. So I put.
So if y'all follow any women's basketball and you know what he's talking about, Breanna Stewart, which is one of his top 2 players that he admits to ever come through UConn. And again, he's coached many of star athletes at the University of Connecticut. Breanna Stewart, Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, Swin Cash, all these type of people. But this is his philosophy, and I see the similarities that Coach Prime is having. Again, if this young man has been showing up late to meetings, if he's been showing up late to meetings as a coach, how can you, even though he's your star cornerback, how can you continue? How can you let him be starting and getting an ample amount of playing time when the other guys are there on time? And again, I don't know if they're there on time or not. But if your star athlete is not showing up on time, and then you continue to play him or start him, what does that say to the other kids on the team? And if Coach Prime is building the culture of having discipline, being smart, and if he doesn't do that, he's going back on every single word that he said to those kids in recruiting. He's going back on every single word that he said to those parents when they were being recruited. So if this is the case, I'm going to have to ride with Coach Prime on this. Because if you're going to be that type of coach and that hold yourself accountable to that standard, you have to hold everybody to that standard. And I remember playing for my father one time at AAU. Playing for my father during the summertime. And I was being basically like, Coach Oriema just said, I was being a brat, thought I knew it all, didn't want to talk to my teammates, didn't want to listen to my father because he wasn't my official coach. And he sat my butt down for almost a whole game. And my man Hope Jordan is on this channel if he's still here. If he remembers that, he can tell you the story. We was out here in Denton, Texas. We were out here in Denton, Texas, and my own father, sat me down for pretty much a whole game. And once he came back and talked to me, he asked me, "Are you done? Are you done being like that?" And I said, "Yeah," and I went out and played, and I played well. So he sent a message to the team saying, if my son is going to act a fool and I don't treat him like I would do anybody else if he wasn't my son, he let him know that he was setting a standard and it was going to be all right. Me and Mike, that's his dad in the chat, so stop, he's fine. So, Creel says, getting back to these comments, I'm sorry. Catching up, I was going off here. Franklin says, it do not have nothing to do with nothing. He must learn responsibility. I don't care where you go, you must be responsible. Yes, this is part of life. If Charlotte Center gets on the field before Deshaun Nugget, I'm out. What? Charlotte was hurt, my guy. Aaron Center, did you play sports? Okay, y'all kind of going back and forth with that. Juice City Legend said, what's up with Malachi Wyman? I have no idea. I didn't get a chance to see the game this past weekend. I did the Bethune-Cookman South Carolina State game. Didn't get a chance to see it. A son just says, I'm lost. JSU is winning and everyone mad he's not playing. And this is just from the simple, this is from the mind state of the simple fan who really doesn't understand the dynamics of what goes on between the game, yes, pun intended, right? And this is why I named my channel this, is because I can kind of give a different type of insight because I've been through this stuff. With my head coach. We had a kid, our best point guard at the time when I was in college. Best point guard, strong, crafty, could do it all. He was not going to class, and each assistant coach had a group of kids that they had to go check their classes. And we had an 8 o'clock class. It was called Business Communications. I'll never forget it. And we would be in class, and coach would text me or text one of us that were in that same class. I'm like, where is such and such? And we'll be like, man, I don't know. We knocked on the door, we called, he didn't answer. Our best point guard, most athletic guard. And he basically rode the bench. After the season was over, coach gave him his walking papers and he was out the door. So you have to be disciplined enough to get your stuff done on the field and off the field. Real Talk says loud, appreciate you, my guy. There are teams that cannot beat JSU, so they look to make up narratives, anything to try to divide us. We're still on a dominant train. Yeah, and this is, somebody says this clickbait, and this is a legit question because I know how the transfer portal goes right now. And somebody said his father was in here, so and his father says he's good. And Deion even posted on his Twitter on September 10th saying y'all sleeping on the wrong one, mark my words. So that, to me, that kind of lets me know that he is, taking accountability, being responsible for his actions, and getting ready to move on to the next step. And he also has another tweet that says, watch me work 100. So if this is the case, Somebody said that he's late to meetings. It can be corrected. This is a simple correction. This is a simple correction. And I stated in my video for folks who might just be coming in and think I'm trying to, force him out the door or anything like that. And I said that he should stay. I think he should stay because this builds character. And that's what we need more in this nation. That's what we need more with these young men, especially. Frankly, I guess you're different. I know in sports and in the workplace, if I'm not getting what I want, I'm bouncing loyalty as to be two-sided. A lot of people do that. Miak Mike Bafu, go to B Fresh says Nugget played on special teams, so he's still getting on the field a certain way, not in the position that he wants to be, but he's still getting on the field. Mike, you're the type of guy that runs when things get hard, and I'm the guy that go and stand and fight. The young man must learn responsibility. Nugget had a lot of chances to keep that starting spot. Aaron Sanders, y'all kind of going back and forth with that. Let's get to some. Brian says, Brian Johnson, appreciate you coming back. Nugget put Nugget in the situation, but nobody else. So if he can't comply, then this can't be a distraction to the team that's building their culture. So going back to what I said earlier, if Coach Prime is trying to establish a culture, energy around this program, then this type of stuff that he has to hold himself accountable for. If he's saying that this and this and this and that is going to happen, then he must enforce the rules, man. He must enforce the rules. And as a head coach, you have to do that. You have to stand on your words, because if you don't, you're going to lose the locker room. And yes, especially now with the transfer portal, there are going to be some guys who are going to leave. This is just simple understanding the way of college sports is right now. There are going to be some guys who initially fell in love with Jackson State. There are going to be some guys who initially fell in love with Jackson State, and then they're not going to be able to either get on the playing field or not be able to abide by the rules, or not liking how Coach Prime is running things. And there are going to be some guys who enter the transfer portal. It happened last year. Just like Coach Prime is getting a lot of transfer portals, there were a couple of guys who left last year. So this is going to happen. So and I'm going back to say that Coach Prime has to establish a culture in which that he lives by. Obi Washington says last year Nugget Dad called the Scotty show and said he had some kind of sleeping disorder. If anybody remember that, saying something about able to get enough sleep at night. Don't get me wrong, man, sleeping is tough, man. I until I got a new bed, man, I was sleeping terrible, man. I couldn't get to sleep at night. Couldn't do anything. Malachi Wyman, there's a school called Incarnate Word in Eastern Washington that throws the ball all the time. They're taking try. Miak Micus is throwing salt in the game. Nuggets is good. It's a long season. Yes, it's a long season. And I said it earlier, this might be a way for the coaches to get some of these younger guys some tick. Right? Get them some tick before the meat of the Swac schedule starts. And just in case things might go awry, they might need them in a certain situation, a dime package or a nickel situation. These guys have gotten the playing time early on in the season, and they understand what they're seeing on the field, understanding what they're seeing from the quarterback, understanding the packages that the coach is drawing up and all this other stuff. Aaron Sennett says, Miak, Mike, you need to go back to Miak. Brian Johnson, Wyman missed a lot of time because of his studies. Yes, he did. Yo Creole says, the plan was having Travis the movement Hunter on one side and funneling everything to Nugget side. Grambling as trees as wide receivers. It would be nice to have Nugget on the field. And if y'all just now tuning in, if you missed it earlier, Travis Hunter would not be playing this weekend. He's still nursing an injury. So Coach Prime has already said that Travis Hunter will not be playing this weekend because it's going to do him a disservice and do the fans a disservice of not seeing him play at a 100%. Genia says if a player is not doing what he's required, Coach Prime can't want it more than him. Absolutely. Nuggets at DC kid will get through this. That's what's up. All right? Push through. Aaron Sennett says big facts. That's what I keep telling me. Mike Nugget and his dad keep saying it's on Nugget. Genia says a player may have to go through some growing pains just like 45 did. Absolutely. And this is just not being, growing pains through the sport that you love. This is growing pains through adulthood. This is growing pains through adulthood. So at this time, I'm actually going to open up the stream for anybody who would like to come in and rap with me. And also, if you have not hit that like button, please do so. Please do so. And if you got social media, follow us on any social media platform, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, uh, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Do all that. If you like what we do, man, you can hit the Cash App. Cash App is $ between the game sports. Each first letter, each word is capitalized. Or you can hit the super chat. You got a super chat type of question, super sticker. You can do that as well. So if anybody would like to join, I'm gonna put this up in the stream. Just copy the stream link, and you can come over. We're speaking about Mr. Nugget. It's been confirmed that a lot of his struggles right now, a lot of his playing time. I don't. You know what? I'm not even gonna say confirmed. There are some folks who are, in the Jackson State world who are saying that this young man has taken accountability, and the reason why he's not playing is because of his own merit. His own merit. So that's where we at with that. And again, at this time, if you would like to join, I will really appreciate it. You can share your thoughts. Franklin says to build a strong culture, you have to weed out the bad so you can build and go forward. Absolutely. We have to remember that Coach Prime, this is basically going on his second full season at Jackson State. So he hasn't even reached 3. Remember, he came in during the COVID year, started late. They went 3-3 in the spring when they had the shortened season. So this right here is his second full season. So he's still establishing his culture, establishing the way that he wants to run things. So I'm with what's happening. If this is true, Mr. Warren has not been on time to certain meetings. But let's put it like this. I'm going to play, I don't even want to say devil's advocate. This might be a blessing in disguise because it's allowing other players to get some time on the field other than Mr. Warren. Right? This is allowing other players to get playing time on the field. They played a lot of guys, man. A lot of guys, right? And the leading tackler right now on this team is Cameron Craig. Cameron Craig is the leading tackler on this team, and he's playing the safety position. So that means he's flying to the ball. Of course, Niles Gaddy is leading the team in sacks, right? He's leading the team in sacks, and he's come back with a vengeance this year. Coach Prime talked about him in the Swac news conference today, and how basically said Niles Gaddy is playing pissed, saying he's mad because he didn't get a lot of the recognition that James Houston got last year. This is words out of Coach Prime's mouth. This is exact words. Isaiah Bolden has been playing. Who else? Jalen Hughes has played. Who else? Franklin Dunn has played. They got talent on top of talent at this position. And I said before the season started that I thought Jackson State's defensive backs was one of the strong points on this team. And then you have Kelverick Wiggins Jr., I think is his name. He's played. He has an interception on the season. So Mr. Warren taking it upon himself to be accountable. I really am liking to hear that. And we have a streamer just joined in, so we're going to allow him to come in. Yes, sir. Who is this? Let's turn down.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing? Let me turn down this background music real quick so I can properly hear you. I apologize for that. Okay, go ahead. Can you hear me?
Yeah, this is Brian Johnson calling. Sorry
Yes,
to
sir.
put my name in the chat. The thing with Deion Nugget Warren, great young man, great player, but he's got to take accountability to all his actions. You know, when you're with a Hall of Famer like Deion Sanders at the position that you desire to be, and he's trying to give you the ingredients to get to the next level, and you're not taking advantage of it because of if you're sleeping, you're not going to your classes or not practicing hard. That's not on the coaches. That's on you. And the thing is, a lot of people, you know what I mean, say put him in the portal, bit of the portal. He went from junior college, JUCO up to Division One on the FCS.
Mm-hmm.
So the transfer again, it's his right to do so if that's his desire to do so. But you know what? All you're doing is running away from the problem and not addressing the looking in the mirror, kind of like Michael Jackson, the man in the mirror. When he does that, looks in the mirror and says, "Listen, what can I do to be better? What can I do to get on the field to help my team and not be a corner?" Because now it seems like it's almost becoming a little distraction now, because especially on a lot of the sites here, and other YouTubers are saying, well, he should definitely go. If I was, I'd be pissed, and so on and so on and so forth. You can't speak for a young man that we don't know the 100% the situation. The thing is, anything that Nugget wants to do, he can control his own destiny if he's doing the right thing. Because you can't tell me that Coach Prime will not put this man on the field if he's doing the right thing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. He is that good. And then somebody said that he can go such and such, or he won't start. If he can leave Coach Prime, he won't go start anywhere else. And I'm like, BS, because this young man is that good. He was that highly talented. He could have been starting at Georgia, but he decided to go over to Jackson State. But if people are saying what is true, it's on him. He has to be able to take accountability. He's costing himself playing time, nobody else, right? Because if you're that type of player, you're that good, no coach wants to keep that type of kid off the field. I don't care who you are. But if they want to build a culture like Coach Prime is trying to do, he has to do what he has to do to make sure the entire team is on one accord. And yes, it is a distraction because now you have people, out there talking about it. And I wasn't even going to talk about this, but people were hitting me on my inbox and stuff like that, and kind of asked me to speak about it. And my thoughts is he should be able to push it out. And then now learning what's happening, he has no choice but to push it out.
And the thing is that we got to Nugget being a senior on the team, he has to be a better example for the for the freshmen and the sophomores and the juniors on the team, showing a good example by being a true leader. And make sure you're getting to class, doing your studies, doing your film work, doing all the things to try to get you to the next level. If that's his dream and his goal to go to the next level and change the fortunes of his family, because if you are on the next level and you miss this, they don't not only play, they cut you.
Mm-hmm.
They release you. You know what I mean? So unless you can even be a first round pick and you can be released. So the thing is, if you're not doing things right now in collegiate ball, you might not get the opportunity to do it in pro ball.
Yeah, and basically right now, what we're all saying is, Mr. Warren, Mr. Nugget has to see the big picture, right? You have to be able to, see everything for what it is, but at the end of the day, it's going to have to be on you to kind of get the job done. And so that's where I'm at with that. And, people are saying that his father has addressed this a couple of times, Randall Thomas. And I'm glad he's addressed it. I think he came in here earlier and said that he's fine, so I'm glad to hear that. But there were just rumblings around the Swac world, and this is what people do. They want to see kids, kind of go to a different place, because everybody who would not accept this young man on their team is what I'm trying to get to.
And there's also different agendas out there too. Let's face the fact. There's a lot of JSU haters. So so it's easy for this start spreading this kind of vitriol for this young man to go somewhere else. Let's look back at Aubrey Miller. When Aubrey Miller last year was playing, and his father told him, "Listen, you're going to learn from a great guy," and Aubrey changed his attitude. He's a great player on the field. He's become a great leader, and just look at the success that this young man is having now. Mm-hmm. And he stayed. He could have left. But he stayed an extra year. So that's really telling you about the culture that Coach Prime was bringing to JSU.
Yeah, and it's so easy to leave now. It's so easy to leave now, and I'm glad. And I might even be kind of mad at myself because I don't even usually address this type of stuff. I don't even like to push this type of narrative, and I'm not even pushing it in a negative sense because in my honest opinion, there's no reason for him to leave. It's just 2 games into the season. So you can grind it out and do what you have to do. And especially now hearing that he has self accountability issues right now, which he's seems to be working on. I hate that I even jumped on this topic. It's kind of bothering me because everything I try to do is promote young men in a positive light. Because I've been in the college world, I played college basketball, so I know how this stuff goes. This media world is totally different now, especially from when I played. Um, we have somebody. B. Fresh says you're exactly right. You
No,
are exactly right.
and you're 100%. Like, I don't know, my background. I was the first black player to ever play in the National Hockey League. My son played pro hockey, and I
Okay.
understand. When my son went through trials and tribulations, going playing pro, because a lot of people try to say, "Well, you're not like your father," and yada yada yada, and so on and so forth. And he had coaches that he had great coaches. He had some coaches that, and I used to always tell my son, "You're the one that's going to make the difference. You can't let a person define who you are. It's by your work ethic, the way that you work, that you got to make sure that you're doing things right, and that way you're not only playing for you, you're playing for your teammates."
Absolutely.
And when you play for your teammates, you get respect of your teammates. So he had a good career in minor pro. He played 10 years, I know, and he did pretty well for himself. But the thing is, I really like the approach that Mr. Aubrey Miller's dad did last year, and spoke to him. Said, "Listen, this is the facts. Instead of telling your son, well, son, that coach is no good and yada yada yada. Said, no, son, maybe you do something that you're doing. You should listen. Take the knowledge. When you get a wealth of knowledge from Deion Sanders, all the pro coaches that they have, that's so valuable. There's no price that you can put on that. And one of the great things about it is, where can he get this? Deion's been at the top of the top. You know what I mean? And baseball and football. He's the best DB ever play at a position. He changed the monetary situation for DBs.
Absolutely, yeah, he did. He's one of one. He's one of one.
For young Nugget there, for him to see a guy of Deion's stature and be able to tell him, "Listen, this is how you can do this. You got to do that." That's a wealth of knowledge. You can't buy that. You can't get that in a book. You know what I mean? And with Mr. Thurman, you know what I mean? Great, and their DB coach, he's got so much experience there. For him, all he has to do is comply to what they're trying to tell him. And you know what? He's got great speed. He's got great height. He's definitely a pro prospect. But it's up to him. How bad does he want it? You know what I mean? You could say you want it, but how bad do you want it?
Absolutely. Let me get to this comment. Aaron Sanders says this narrative was made after the game on YouTube for no reason. Likes and views, no matter how this affects the player and their family. My son's playing, I wouldn't want to hear this. And you're exactly right, Aaron. And like I said, I am a little bit bothered with myself because I usually don't even cover this type of information. But folks were just, emailing me. I'm sorry, not emailing me, DM me, asking me to do this topic, and I wanted to kind of bring it to light. And I appreciate those folks who are in here, dropping information. And you, Mr. Johnson, you might be my great uncle somewhere. We have the same last name. I get a lot of Johnsons on this channel. It's really weird. Yeah. Get a lot of Johnsons. But I normally just kind of continue to stick to stuff that I want to talk about. And God! And then somebody said for his dad to call in. His dad can, come in if he wants to, but he doesn't have to explain himself to me or anyone else that's on this topic right now. He really doesn't. He's made his statement earlier in the comments, and he can leave it at that if he wants. So be fresh and saying, Mr. Moore, call in. But this young man has the talent. He has the build. A lot of NFL guys, programs, teams are starting to go to the big cornerback, to the 6'6'1". Back in the day, all they had was the little bitty guys who can run fast and do all these other things. But now they're starting to go to these type of guys who'll be able to defend these big, fast, great route running wide receivers and do this type of stuff. So Mr. Warren, the young man, has to be able to get his stuff together and not put it on anyone else, right? Somebody said he needs to get a accountability advisor. Yes, that may be true, but at the end of the day, you can have an advisor as much as you want. if you don't listen to the advice of the advisor, it doesn't work. So you have to be able to go out there and get it done yourself.
But I hear you saying that you feel a little some way putting this on. No, you shouldn't feel anyway because it's a great avenue for even Nugget to seeing this to maybe take accountability and say, you know what, people are starting to talk about this, which they shouldn't even be talking about this. Let me get myself right.
That makes sense. That makes absolutely sense. So he might stumble across this because I'm sure there are people out there right now who are saying, "Man, there's such and such talking about you. There's another stream talking about you. There's another channel talking about you." So it might be some. It might do some good, right? Might do some good. Let me get to a couple more comments. Franklin says there are people who haven't played it down in college and still made it to the NFL. Just because you go to a P5 school, you're not guaranteed to the NFL. You're absolutely correct. Aaron Sanders also says, "Be fresh. There's no need for Mr. Moore to call in. If he called into the show, that'll start the narrative already." Uh, you're right, bro. I'm sick of the haters. And then we got She Loves Thee. This has to stop. They've been attacking Nugget leaving for the longest since last year. And you have to ask yourself the question: why would they want that young man to lead? Because they're scared of him. Other programs are scared to have him going up against their receivers. All right, this is nothing new. This has been seeds planted for a long time. Other programs do this all the time. I'm a fan of the sport. I'm a fan of the Swac. So this is not me planting seeds about anything. I want to see the young man stick it out because, like Mr. Johnson said here, this young man is at the right place. You're with the guy who most considered the best defensive back ever to play the game. So if he can stick it out, continue to learn, continue to grow, become a better young man, because we know when we're young and in college, we're not our best versions, man. Men don't get mature to really like 25, 20, 28, somewhere in there. It takes us a while.
And plus, now they got the addition of Mike Zimmer as an analyst. That coach DBs, that coach Deion. Where, where else can you want to go? Where else do you want to go? My prediction is this: Nugget will be on the field this weekend, and from this weekend on, Nugget's going to be a phenomenal player. And you know what? He's going to be mentioned in all Swac as far as defensive players, because you know what? He's got that much talent, and I think this is just going to be a great wake up call for him. And he's just going to do phenomenal things. And you know what? Sometimes you need to be kicked in the butt to get going.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know if you were in here earlier. I was telling a story about myself playing for my dad in the summer, and I wasn't doing right, and he sat my butt down for a long time, and then he finally came over to me and asked me, "Are you ready? Are you done being this way?" And sure enough, it worked out. And I believe this is his father, Dante Moore. Somebody said this is his father. He said he'll be starting against Grambling. And then he said he's already sent the link to his son, I believe. So a lot of folks are rooting for this young man. And again, I hate I even went this route because it makes if they listen to the stream, they know that I'm rooting for him to stay. So it is what it is.
You're definitely not a guy on these chats that analyze the game that's negative whatsoever, because anybody that's negative, you know what I mean? Like I said, I live in Canada. And, I played hockey. Matter of fact, one of my pro seasons I did play in Dallas back in the early '80s. But the thing is, I love positively lifting up HBCUs. Kamala Harris went to high school with my cousin in Montreal, Canada.
Oh wow!
You know what I mean? She should be doing more for HBCUs. That's another subject.
Yes, it is. Yes,
that's
it
another
is.
subject. But you know what? I love your programming. You know what I mean? I listen to it all the time. You're very, very positive, and you know what I mean. You bring a lot of insight that I didn't even know about HBCUs, and I want to just thank you for that.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. I try to do my best and put out a good product every time I get on here. Let's see. I'll get to some more comments. So again, if anybody else wants to join in, the link is in the stream. I'll bring it back up, copy and paste it. Dang, how far did it go? Maybe I lost it. Oh, there it is. So anybody who wants to copy and paste that and join in and kind of speak their piece about this, and like someone said, I think it was Genia said, if anybody wants to send this young man words of positivity, you can do so right here on this stream. She says go to his social media, send him some inspirational messages, let him know we're looking forward to seeing him on the field. Again, his dad has already said he's playing against Grambling uh, and things of that nature. Tony A says, get on the field, Nugget. We want to see you play and make it to the league. She loves these says, if iron sharpens iron, why are you trying to get him out the fire? I am not trying to get him out the fire, actually. Uh, Also, Miss Ivy too. She always comes through. Have a great season, Nuck. We're rooting for you. Um, and then she loves these. Says, who is going or argue that K5 didn't earn his spot? Are you saying Herman Smith didn't earn his spot? I don't know what you might be going back and forth with somebody in the chat. Really not sure. Uh, let's see. Let's see what else. Dante Moore says he came there for a reason, remembering he graduated in December. So that's what's up. So he's graduating early. He's graduating early. And for folks who don't understand that, and I believe he's graduating early, and his dad can correct me on this if I'm wrong, to graduate early in college, man, that means you're putting in some time, right? You're not taking any semesters off. Summer one, summer two, you've been grinding it out. You probably taking more hours than you should because most times athletes only take about 12 to 13 hours. So he's might have taken more hours than he should have. So this is it's great to hear to that young man. Anybody who's been to college and graduate, just know that that's something that nobody in this world can ever take from you. Even though my life has turned out totally different from the career path I wanted to do in college, I'm glad I went to college because it lets me know that I was able to start something and finish something. My brothers both went to college; they didn't finish. I was the first graduate of my immediate family, besides my mother. But out of my brothers, I was the first graduate. So that's something that can never be taken from that young man. Get to some more. Rusty Shackleford says, "Hey, in my opinion, Nugget the best DB in the Swac for sure. Of course, they don't want to plan for us. Yeah, man, and people are going to do that. And people are going, and it's easier now because there's social media. There's Twitter. If y'all don't have a Twitter, man, Twitter is made for college sports. It's absolutely made for college sports. Aaron Sanders says, and Mr. Nugget said, has another year to play. So there you go. Nugget wants a Tiger, always a Tiger. You're a family at JSU. You also have to understand that scouts want to see certain players in different situations. Films on special teams, you will not see a player playing the same position. They are rotating to get film. That I can understand that. I can understand that. But I'm pretty sure his desire is not to play special teams. His desire would be to go play at the cornerback position. Plays for a coach who was a cornerback. But if you make it to the league on special teams, I applaud that because when you make it to the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, you're special. You're in the 1% of this world that you can say that you're the best thing possible, right? So I can understand that. Let's see who else. His dad says he has an extra year. He has an extra year. So how much eligibility does he have left? If he graduates, he can only become a graduate transfer at a Power 5 school. I'm going to call and explain it. You can if you want to. Let's see what else. There's other news. Again, they're playing Grambling this weekend. Travis Hunter will not be playing, and I know a lot of folks are disappointed in that, but they're going to ease him back into the fray of things, man. And when you're deep at this defensive backfield like Jackson State is, you can kind of allow that young man to get healthy and get right and have things rocking and rolling when it's time for him to come back. Mr. Johnson, you got anything else for us?
Well, I just wanted to say one thing that last thing I'm going to say is this. The return of Nugget's going to be unbelievable. And I like I said, I was saying to you before, don't feel bad about about having this topic because I think you bring a little bit more light to the situation in a positive way. And anybody who thinks that you're not, you're just fooling themselves or just drinking the JSU haterade. So
Gotcha.
keep on doing what you're doing. It seemed like Mike is trying to recruit for next year already. But Keep on keeping on, and I'm going to keep listening to your show, and I'll talk to you later. And God bless you, my man.
Okay, God bless you too. Thank you for coming
Bye.
in. Appreciate it. Miak Mike is doing a job over here in these comments, man. And I'm not mad at you, man. You have a preference on your conference. You have a preference on your team. So I am not mad at you for doing that. As they say, you never know until you try. You never know until you try. Aaron Sanders says Miak Mike stop fail. He's not leaving for some Power 5. Deion just used the best route. Deion has all the NFL coaches' ears of the corners. So he's at the consensus is he's at the best possible place he can be at. He's at the best possible place he can be at and continue to rock and roll and do what Jackson State wants him to do. Now, again, if Coach Prime is trying to build a program the way he wants to build a program, he has to make everybody accountable. And I would even place the bet on if this was Shadur. If this was Shadur, I would even willing to bet that he would probably sit his butt down as well. Not only because it's the way of the program, but because you're the coach's son. You're the coach's son. So if the coach's son ain't doing what he's supposed to do, and I don't hold my son accountable, then that giving information to the other players on the team that you are not, you're not about what you're talking about, right? You're not about what you're talking about. And Tony H says, let's see. Tony H says, Coach Prime mentioned at the post game in Memphis, some NFL recruits want to see certain players play special teams. Appreciate that information. Aaron Sanders, thanks Scotty for all this bull. I don't know who Scotty is. Aaron, I don't know who Scotty is. Bernard Green says Nugget is not the best player in the Swac. Stop saying that. Who said he was the best player? All right. I hate, and this is why I don't get into discussions of the GOAT conversation. I hate that. I hate that. Because everybody has a difference of opinion on what certain things are. Man, I hate that conversation. I never get into that type of argument with folks. B Fresh says JSU hater. Love it. Genius says facts. Yeah, man, I'm just trying to speak my piece and speak my thoughts about this. Miak Mike says Travis Hunter doesn't need to play until about week 6. You have to get that ankle right. Ankles are hard to heal. Yes, high ankle sprains are just, they suck. They're scary. I don't know if it's ankle sprain or just whatever it may be, but if it has something to do with the ankle, it takes a while. It takes a while, especially being at the position, playing any sport, but being at the position of a cornerback, your feet is very, very important to you, right? Being able to cut, being able to transfer them hips over and do things of that nature. And Genia says the organization will fall apart. Exactly, man. So if you're not being about what you're talking about, then you're going to lose the locker room. You're going to lose the players. You're going to do a lot of stuff, man. Aaron Sand says, great show, fam. Keeping the real out. Yeah, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. He will sit Shallow down in a second. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man, because you have to set a standard of what is happening. Miak Mike, appreciate Miak Mike, man. I don't think I got my sound effects working. Y'all got to remind me before I start the show. Get your sound effects working, man. I usually give you a horn for that. But yep, nope, I ain't even got it hooked up. I'm not gonna mess with it because it will mess up my stream. Appreciate you, Miak Mike, man. You've been in here recruiting. You've been here speaking your piece. You got all these SWAC folks around you, and you holding it down. So I appreciate you, Miak Mike. I hope you subscribe to this channel, man. I really, really do. I try to keep it real as much as I can. I try to speak my truths as much as possible and keeping it in perspective in the mindset of a once athlete and then one time a coach, which I still coach, but I'm more of a trainer now. I'm more of a basketball trainer now. And I usually don't even do shows around this time of the day. But man, like I said, man, folks were hitting me and, asking me to kind of jump in on this topic. I didn't even know what was going down for the most part. Rusty Shackelford says people act like they forgot he benched Shiloh for a half last year. So yeah, it's it's easy to kind of create these narratives and these topics. Again, I usually tend to stay away from these type of things because I want to promote young people, young men and young women in a more of a positive light. But I also understand the collegiate world of the transfer portal. I also understand that side of things. So um, this is why I decided to get in on this. And Genia says any foot injury takes a long time to heal because we're all always on them. Absolutely, man. Like I said, if y'all just not tuning in, man, I still have dreams and nightmares where I wake up in the middle of the night because I dreamed that I twisted my ankle. I still have that to this day. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. AP says Travis is so talented. Jess, you can keep him out into the Swac Championship and Celebration Bowl, and we still do his thing in both games. He's that good. Travis Hunter is my good friend Hoop Jargon. He has this gentleman on his channel called Dane Irvin. Dane Irvin, he's a scout for the Phoenix Suns now, and he hates the word generational talent. He hates the word generational talent because it's so easily thrown around right now. I'm not going to give him that type of praise just yet, but for what that young man did in his very first game at the collegiate level, the atmosphere that he did it in, the prime time effect that he did it in, which was the 2 o'clock game, the Sunday before Labor Day, the Sunday before a holiday. It was the only game on in that time slot. What he did that game, shutting down one side of the field, they only targeted him probably 3 times, 3 or 4 times. I think he had 2 tip passes. And at one point, they just stopped even looking his direction. That was something extraordinary, right? That was something special. That was something that you don't really see from someone ever, especially at the freshman position. So if y'all understand what I'm talking about with Travis Hunter, yeah, I mean, y'all should give that young man a 100 in the comments. And Genia says, "Get your sound effects working." Yeah, I gotta get back on it. Man. I gotta get. Ram Transport says high ankles take like 6 to 8 weeks. Yes, they do. Wiggins has been balling. Let me see, Wiggins. I read the name earlier. Um, I read that name earlier. Good lord. Oh yeah. Is it Key Varick? Somebody correct me on that pronunciation. Is it Key Varick? Key Varick Wiggins Jr. I hate messing up people's names. They deserve to have their names uh, correctly. So we have another streamer coming in. I think this is She Loves These. She wants to speak her piece about this situation. Hello,
Hello.
hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead and speak it. Let me turn down the background music if it's too loud, so the folks can hear what you got to say. So,
Okay.
go ahead.
Um, I just wanted to say that Nugget is very talented.
Mm-hmm.
He's very talented. He came on the Blitz City podcast and did an interview. He's very well spoken.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the scouts that come to the practice, they want to see film on players that they're looking at in different scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why Nugget played on special teams. I think against FAMU, he played in the special teams because they want to see film on how does he play in this type of scenario. If you
Mm-hmm.
might have noticed, Isaiah Bolden was playing DB and instead of doing punt returning. So they're in different, scenarios that the scouts want to see film on. But
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of a disservice to the student athletes for grown men to speak on what they should do with their lives and cause all this friction when they don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Hmm.
Like, it's not speaking on Nugget and saying, "Oh, he should just enter the transfer portal now," and go where? They got scouts coming to practice on a daily basis. He has his exposure. He has his NIL deals. The only person that can hold Nugget back is Nugget. And I don't think anybody can say that Kevrick Williams or Herman Smith didn't earn the right to start I, based off of their play. I know, especially at FAMU, like, are we saying that these young men don't deserve it because Nugget was the number one JUCO prospect in the nation? That's not fair. Anybody can start with a number. You can start with the star. How you practice, that determines on whether or not you're going to start. How you carry yourself in the classroom, that determines on whether or not you're going to start. How you carry
Hmm.
yourself on campus after class, that's going to determine it. So I think we should stop making up all these, like, terrible
Narratives.
assumptions, and then you're discounting the other young gentlemen who work hard day in and day out to make sure that their game is right. Like, it's a competition. You got to make sure everything's good.
Absolutely. It goes like that. I think you got some lawnmowers or something going on in the background uh, there. I don't know if you're outside or maybe what it is. Be Fresh says open up your camera. And I will speak on this about what you're saying about the competition. And then speaking from my perspective, I was not a starter at college. All right. I was not a starter at college. And when I got the chance to start, I hated starting because I wasn't the most athletic guy. And I love to come in the game when the starters were tired. And when you're saying that we're doing a disservice to the other young men, uh, you're right in a way. But this is I would say, because there's so much attention on Jackson State right now, you're going to have plenty of people coming out and speaking on certain things. This happens in the AAU basketball world, especially down in Houston. For folks who don't follow my Twitter, there's Houston AAU was just stupid crazy with young men betting on these young men, telling them where they should and shouldn't go. And this is why I said I kind of hate. I want to say hate myself because I usually don't even talk about this kind of stuff. Uh, but folks were asking me to kind of speak on it, hitting my DMs and kind of share my thoughts. And I've said this before. I don't know who. We got a lot of people in here now. If you're just now joining in, I think he should stay. And it's been confirmed that he's not going anywhere. But my initial thoughts were that he should stay because there's nothing wrong with working hard. And then more and more was brought out through the throughout the stream, and saying what was happening with him, and he needs to take responsibility. And so there we have it. With that answer, I can't go back and change the title at this point. We've been going too long. So,
But even
are you
that's
still there?
just hearsay, and it's rumors. Like, we don't really know if he's being accountable or not, if he's getting the class or not. Like, we don't really know that. He
Yeah, well,
suited up.
his father is basically shut all that down. Somebody said his father was in here and basically shut all that down and said that he will be playing against Grambling State. I think he said he will be starting. So his father has basically shut
And
all of that down. Are you still there? Still there.
yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, gotcha.
I was just gonna say that sometimes I think his dad shouldn't say anything either, because last year he was saying, "Oh, they need to put my son Nugget in," and they did the same thing last year about Nugget needs to just go ahead and leave and this, that, and the third. It's just kind of brings tension
it
to a
it does.
situation
It
because you have
does.
a parent that's speaking on his son, and at the end of the day, when it's 5:30 in the morning, he's not the one that's tapping on Nugget's shoulder saying, "Hey, you better get to practice on time." Or when he's in the classroom, you can't say, "Hey, Nugget, got to make sure you get your," like, when he goes to the NFL, nobody's
Yeah.
gonna tap on his shoulder and say, "Hey, I need you to be at this meeting at a certain time.
Absolutely.
He's
You
grown.
when you become a when you get to that 24, 25, and you starting to try to figure out life, at some point you have to take responsibility. And I'll even tie this into, if y'all follow Ti, and he's speaking about his son King. And if y'all know King, King is the light the young man, really really light skinned, and he's playing this tough guy persona, and doing all these crazy things. And then Ti did a live probably like last week, and he basically said, "Man, we've done everything for this child. We've done everything for this young man, uh, Ti and his wife." And he basically said that, at some point we're going to have to take the reins off of him. We're still going to love him because he's our child, but at some point he's going to have to learn to be responsible and take accountability for himself. So what you're saying right now, if he does make it to the NFL, he's going to have to be responsible for himself. And then we hear the stories year in year out about how the NFL gives this symposium at the beginning of the year about guys being responsible. For the rookies coming in, being responsible, taking care of your money, not drinking and driving. And then what do you see every single year? It still happens. So hopefully, this stream or other streams, whatever it may be, it might bring him some attention on the good side of things.
Yep, I'm rooting for Nugget. I'm hoping that he has a whole bunch of interceptions this year and takes it back for a touchdown. And I just wanted to highlight that I definitely think that he should stay at JSU, and to tune out all of the haters and the naysayers and the people that's bringing up drama. Just focus.
There you go. There you go. I appreciate you coming through and speaking your piece about this situation.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go. Genius says I agree with that. Tariq Smith, thumbs up. So what did he do? Um, the reports are that he hasn't. He's been late to meetings, um, and things of that nature. Now I've said this before because I've been at the collegiate level playing at a D1, and that's one thing coaches take very very seriously. If you're not on time to study hall, if you're not on time to film session, if you're not on time to practice, and again this is all speculation. We have not heard it from the horse's mouth and Mr. Nugget himself. But this is what folks are saying. If that's the case, Coach Prime has a responsibility not only to himself but to the rest of the team, to hold him accountable for that. So that's what it's been said. JSU Tiger says preach caller. Uh, Genius says agree, and Coach said the second and third groups of guys easily replace the one. So that and this is why I said at the beginning earlier in the stream, sometimes having too much talent can be a hindrance. It's great to have, but sometimes it can be a hindrance. And Jack Boy Eric says Nugget can play anywhere right now if you hit the portal. A lot don't get it. Nugget is from the best. Is the best quarterback in the Swac, and he's not starting and crazy to me. Brian Johnson says the narrative was started by Captain Hay off script. Okay, so this is where this is coming from. Okay, gotcha. So, and I'm gonna continue to say this. I've never seen one of that young man's um, streams. I've heard people talk about him. I hear he has a lot of subscribers, a lot of followers. But there are a lot of folks who say, man, he speaks in a negative way about a lot of young men and young women. Um, but I've never engaged with him. I've never engaged on his channel, so I don't know. So this is where this is coming from. So I understand now. I understand now. So I mean, what he does over there, from what people tell me, he has a great platform. If you have that many subscribers, you either one, you have a lot of you spread a lot of bad news, and what's reported on more in this world, bad news or good news, or you have a really really good platform. So whatever he has going on, salute to him. He can keep doing it the way he does. I'm gonna continue to do it the way I do it over here. I don't compare myself to anyone or anybody. JSU Tiger says Brian ain't babying no one, and that's the bottom line. If you're a wrestling fan, that's the bottom line because Stone Cold says so. Swac fan 100 says time is running out on Nugget. I doubt he'll leave JSU, but if he does, I understand. So Swac fan 100, we've kind of His father was apparently in here earlier saying that he's not going anywhere. He will be graduating in December, and he will have an extra year of eligibility. So that scenario has been kind of squashed. Rusty Shackelford says he's a bozo. Who would I love to engage or engage in mutual combat with? Oh my god! Oh my god! Mario, if he was any type of trouble or being disciplined, Coach Prime would have left him at home. Think about that for a minute. Coach Prime is scared to discipline these kids, and just like somebody said earlier, he benched his son. Like he benched his son last year, and I would say this: it will happen to Shadura as well, right? It might not be for a whole game or anything like that. It was just a different type of feeling. If y'all seen this from the beginning, y'all can go back and watch this. I played a little excerpt from Gino Auriemma, the head coach at UConn, the women's basketball coach, legendary coach, and he said that he has no problem benching kids. And a lot of folks said, and he said it in the video, which I didn't play that part, but he said it. Oh, you can do that. A lot of folks will say, "Oh, you can do that because you have four other All Americans." But he basically said that I'm going to do that regardless. It doesn't matter who I have on my bench. If you're not doing what the team needs you to do, if you're not supporting your teammates, and he was talking about body language in the video, but I tied that back into being late for meetings, as some people said that this is what the reasoning is. Coach Prime has to establish a culture just like Gino Auriemma established a culture of where he's at. So people of excellence they don't work with people who are mediocre, and that's why Kobe Bryant has one of my favorite sayings. Kobe Bryant says that I do not understand lazy people. I don't understand working with mediocre people. I don't understand mediocre folks. One of my favorite sayings. And these people built from that type of cloth, from that ilk, they all have the same mindset. You have to be a hard worker. You have to be about team. You have to be about being on time. You have to respect people's time because time is something that you can't get back. So I can understand if this is true, the culture that Coach Prime is setting, the culture that Dennis Thurman is setting. And of course, there are going to be folks saying, man, Jackson State has the luxury to do that. They got all these guys. So what? So what? I'll tell y'all a story that I did one time. Let me get to some of the comments and I'll tell a little story here. A little personal story. Swac fan says off script just adds a different perspective. The bad as well as the good is all HBCU love in the end. Okay, got you. Again, everything I've been told about him has been in a negative fashion, so it hasn't even prompted me to go check his channel out. It hasn't even prompted me to go check his channel out. So um, it is what it is. Rusty Sacrifice says his woman runs him no respect. Jack Boy Eric says all Oscar said was Nugget should hit the portal if he's not starting because even Oscar said it, that Nugget's better than almost every cornerback on the team. So okay, got you. So that's enough of that. She loves the coach said in practice you fight for your position every week you're fighting the story. And that that's how a program is supposed to be. That's how it was at the program that I was at, Stephen F. Austin. Man, we were battling at practice, and practice was harder than the games. And again, I said, man, I ended up starting like 9 games, but I hated starting because from my perspective, was I can go and be the first sub in, and then play against the starters that are already tired. So that's what that's what I'm about. It's not happening. Shador not sitting out a game. I would not say a game, but I think he would sit him a quarter or a half. Off script lied about Texas Southern bad locker rooms and players' room. If he had did his research, they were already renovating everything. Houston, Texas are paying for it. Yes, they are. But going back to the story I was about to tell, and how certain coaches do certain things to motivate certain people. So I had this parent one time was always every game that she came to, her kid for some strange reason wasn't starting. And I never had a starting lineup. And this is when I was coaching AU. I would literally pick my starters based off how they, warmed up, how they practiced, or just how I, kind of felt about the whole situation. Or I have my assistant coach and be like, I'll just like, give me 5 guys. And so just so happens that every time that she showed up to her son's game, he was not starting. So she pulled me over to the side, very respectful, things like that. Uh, and she was like, "How come my son has never started?" And I said, "You know what?" I said, "Ma'am, that he doesn't start, but does he finish the game?" And she couldn't understand what I was saying. So he didn't start for me a lot of times, but most times he was in the final 5 minutes. And I always tell my players, if you are in the game in crunch time, you are my starters. And so she kept complaining. And so I told her, you know what? I'm gonna start your kid the very next game. So I went to talk to the kid, so I wouldn't embarrass him. I went to talk to the kid. I say, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. Your mother wants you to start. This is what's going to happen. Are you cool with that? And he goes, yeah, coach, I'm good, man. I love playing at the end of the game. So this is what I did. We had a tip ball. Very start the game, we had a tip ball. We won the tip. I called timeout and subbed the kid out. And his mom was baffled by what just happened. But me and the kid had already established what was going to happen. And then he ended up playing, pretty much most of the second half because he was one of my better players. Uh, and so we talked after the game, and she was like, "What was that?" I said, "You wanted your kid to start, didn't you?" I said, "Did he start? Yes or no?" She's like, "Yeah." And that was the last I heard from that lady in a very weird situation. That was just my way of saying, like, I don't give a damn if he started or not. Can you finish the game for me? So that's a little short story right there. Mario says Shador, not saying because he's one of the best QBs in college. Uh, Big Pen Kings podcast. Don't forget, Coach Prime left Wyman at home in the FAMU game. And Wyman was your leading touchdown receiver, and that's what I was telling folks last year. Shador throws 87% last week, 68 this week. Why would you bench him? It's not about benching him. If it's Shador is not doing what he's supposed to do as the team is, the team rules are, it's not about benching him because of his play. It's about benching him because you're establishing a culture. And again, if you don't hold your son responsible, how can you hold somebody else in the program responsible? Because those kids are going to look at you in a totally different way. I'm not sure y'all understanding what I'm saying uh, from the coach's perspective. Rusty, I don't know about that. I don't even care enough to get involved that deep about him. I know he's not someone I give energy to. Okay, so y'all still speaking about that. Uh, Bobby Bowden didn't bench Brown when he rarely attended classes at FSU. Bobby Bowden is his own coach, but we're speaking about Coach Prime as his coach, as a coach right now. He's his own man right now. He's not a player right now. He's a coach. So what does Bowden coaching have to do with Coach Prime? Absolutely. Uh, Leonard Chat said he Coach Prime. That's what it has to do. No, it doesn't have to do anything about that. Discipline is important. Trust me, he will appreciate Prime in the end. D is a D Hurdler. I hope I'm saying that right. D Hurdler. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And she loves these says, and when have you ever seen Shadur not doing what he's supposed to, unless he goes and get a tattoo? That boy never does anything out of line. Uh, I'm just, it's just a scenario, right? It's not saying that he's going to go out there and do anything, uh, wrong. It's just a scenario uh, that I was given. She loves the "you're not getting the point. Stop it." Brian Johnson is saying. Who was JSU backup QB? Is he any good? Somebody tell me who it is. I forgot the name of this young man. Is JP something? Um, is Hispanic kid or white? Is JP A something? Somebody in the comments give that information for me. Uh, what's the point? And then a genius saying he can't show favoritism. And again, it's the relationship, and this is my pure speculation because they've been going at this since they were babies, right? Coach Prime has been coaching his kids for a while now, and the biggest thing that both sides had to understand, right? One, from Coach Prime's side, is he's not just coaching a player; he's coaching his son. And then Shador and Shiloh had to understand that their head coach is not just their coach, but their father as well. So different dynamic in your relationship can be either hindered or bonded stronger. And from what I'm on the outside looking in, their relationship seems pretty solid. So there is a it's a difference in coaching your son and then coaching somebody else, but you also have to hold your son the same accountable the same way you will hold somebody else's child. Right? It's just like taking care. Uh, y'all remember when you used to go spend a night at somebody your friend's house, this and that. You're one of your best friend's house. You were basically a child of that house. You had to abide by the rules. You had to abide by the rules. I know for sure. One, because I was scared to death of my mama. So I knew, and my dad, I knew not to go anywhere and embarrass them. So I knew going to somebody else's house, one of my best friend's house, I couldn't act the fool. I've been whipped by some of my friends, some of my good friends' parents before, and they had the right and the authority to do so. JP Dronde. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Everybody's dropping a mini. Appreciate y'all coming through. Again, if y'all have not liked this stream so far, please do. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. And please follow us on any social media platform. And if you would like to hit the Cash App, donate to this channel, um, you can do that as well. $ between the game sports. Each first letter and each word is capitalized. All this stuff goes back in this channel. I ain't got my camera up today. Uh, I didn't feel like messing with it, but all the donation that this channel has gotten has bought a camera to help with the streams, a couple of lamps, two big lights. I just didn't feel like dealing with that today. I really didn't. Actually, another camera. So y'all been great with the donation with this channel. So everybody, he's from Ohio State. Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I remember now. Swac fan says thanks. And Brian Johnson says Coach Prime always tells the story when he acted up in high school and the coach didn't play him, so he understands. That's why he conveys this message. No one can ever deny Shador exceeds expectations in areas of schools, at practice, and in the public. There's no daddy ball. FCS Jerry Rice Award isn't designated by Coach Prime. Okay, so y'all might be having something going back and forth in the comments. Right, they have to be held to the same standard. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Coach Prime is willing to risk a loss to teach discipline. Let that sink in. Uh, well, it's a famous movie. Uh, y'all remember He Got Game? He Got Game is one of my favorite movies. And y'all remember when he was playing his son at the end of the game? I mean, end of the movie, Jesus. And then, Jesus is kicking his butt. And Denzel Washington goes, man, I can take a loss. I can take a loss. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm teaching. I'm teaching. So that comment you just made, D. Hurler, just reminded me of that situation, man. That's funny. He Got Game is one of my favorite movies, man. And He Got Game was so ahead of his time. If you look at basketball AAU right now, it's basically that movie, and it's been going on for a while. Uh, basically that movie. Chauncey Harris says find the footage online when Coach snapped on QB1 during a high school game. Um, Man, I might have to go to YouTube and see that. I might have to go to my YouTube and see that. Man, see, man, y'all been great. Y'all been keeping the comments rocking and rolling. Again, this stream started off with posing the question: should uh, Mr. Warren Newman transfer? And I eventually said that no, he shouldn't. I think he should be there and grinding out, uh, and stick with it, man. Because what more can you ask for being with Coach Prime, who is recognized and was one of the best, if not the best, cornerback to ever play the game, ever play the game. Let me see if I can find this footage y'all talking about. Uh, um, it might not pull up. Might not pull up. I have to do some serious research. This is mostly pulling up, recent JSU uh, stuff. So I will have to probably go down the timeline a lot more right here. But I don't feel like doing that. He's saying yep to the. He got game stuff. HBC overdrive in the building with Doc Holliday. What's up, my guy? What it do, man? Yeah, we're just speaking about this Folks have told me where this narrative started. I did not know, but people were asking me why I don't go ahead and speak on it. And I guess I need to apologize to uh, Mr. Moore and Mr. Nugget, um, and I apologize for the title name, right? The title name, because I could have honestly said it a different way and could have said I believe he should stay. There should be uh, no transfer. And the Swac fan says great movie, Ray Allen, horrible acting. Though man, Ray Allen was god awful man, and I believe Kobe was supposed to play in that movie. I believe Kobe was supposed to play in that movie, so that would have been interesting to see. But Ray Allen doing that movie basically pushed him into stardom, right? So people still call him Jesus when they see him out. Uh, Jenny says it's the worst. It's the worst, man. So again, if anybody would like to join in and speak there, please, please, please do so. I wasn't even expecting to go this long. We're at an hour and 30 minutes, so this is uh, this has been really, really dope. So if anybody wants to jump in on this, man, copy the stream link. It's in the comments. I'll pull it back up if I can. I gotta do some scrolling, man. But yeah, Ray Allen was god awful in that movie, but that movie speaks volumes on how uh, recruiting goes, how AAU goes. Recruiting trips, man, y'all. Recruiting trips are wild, man. They're wild. Um, y'all just gotta understand. If you didn't play sports, you wouldn't understand a lot that goes on with that movie, man. But the corruption, that's in that movie is most definitely prevalent in AAU sports, especially basketball. Man, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, and I hope you subscribe. I really, really hope you subscribe. Um, if you like what we do on this channel, man, let me know in the comments. Give me a thumbs up or 100, or just an explanation of what you like what we do over here. I really, really appreciate the feedback. Allows me to get better every single time I get on here and do these type of things. Spike fan says Spike exposed how the big universities recruit, and yeah, he exposed it, but I, I'm willing to bet my last dollar that it didn't change nothing. Um, there's still ways around it. Only thing that might be issues now is because of social media, and then everybody has a camera phone. So um, they have the ability to record off of off the rip, man. I remember when I was in college, man. The good old days. If you're around my age, you remember you used to be able to go to the club or go to the bar in college and just enjoy the atmosphere. Just enjoy the atmosphere. You weren't worried about getting no section. You weren't worried about if you were taking shots. You weren't worried about if they got you on camera or anything like that. You were just enjoying the moment, uh, just enjoying being around friends, teammates, or whatever it may be. If you were a dancer, you were on the dance floor. Me, I was the type of dude that just held up the wall and sit back and watch. Uh, so that's that's how I remember college. I hate I hate for the kids now, man. I hate how they have to party and everything has to be recorded. They just can't enjoy the moment. Uh, Rose, I'm gonna say Rose. I'm gonna call you Rose. I don't feel like pronouncing all that. If Travis Hunter late to practice means he will still start. Uh, Go ahead, man. HBC Overdrive. Go ahead. Come on. It's the stream link. Just copy and paste it. Uh, and get the rocking and rolling. Uh, if Travis Hunter is late to practice, it means he will still start. How are you so sure of that? How are you so sure of that? All right. Uh, Deion doesn't have the pressure. Deion doesn't have the pressure of being at like a Florida State or Alabama. I'll scratch out Alabama. A Florida State or a Texas A&M or a UT, where you have the boosters, right? The boosters putting pressure on your job, saying if this kid is not playing, then we're going to take money, um, take money away from you, and not have you playing, right? I mean, not have you coaching here anymore, right? Coach Prime doesn't have that type of pressure to do that. for them folks to do that. So if he wants to run a program a certain way, I believe he's going to be able to run it a certain way. So like you saying that if it was Travis Hunter, I believe he would sit his butt on the bench as well, and Travis Hunter will understand because I think they had that type of relationship. Genia says you probably had a camcorder on your shoulder. No, I did not, man. I was in college when the era when you had the flip phones and they were just starting to get cameras, so the video was real grainy. Like I was in between where the camera phones got really really legit and they were just beginning, right? So that's my area. Uh, uh, that's my era, man. So Rusty Shackelford says, "Good old days. I miss my ball playing days at U of H, U of H, and Jackson State." So you played both there. Did you played on the team there? If so, man, that's dope, man. Yeah. So I played at Stephen F. Austin, man. And great time being there. Best time of my life, actually. But you reminisce and you go on about your business. We have HBCU Overdrive with Doc Holliday Jordan. What's going on, my guy?
What's going on, man?
What's up?
Nothing much. Taking a little lunch break while I'm here at work, but I seen you was on, and I was like, man, I'm gonna go ahead and see what's going on over here with
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Nugget situation. Well, I mean, with the Nugget situation, I mean, his dad went on to came on Oscar's show, told him that he had no problems in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
He was late to, I think it was late to a team meeting or something like that. But if I'm him, because he also said he has 1 year left
Mm-hmm.
at school. So if I'm him, I wouldn't hit the transfer portal yet. I wouldn't transfer out yet because this is something that to me it needs to be corrected by him.
Yeah, very fixable.
Like nobody, I mean, we can hold your hand. Everybody can hold your hand. For for all the good and bad things. But when it comes down to you and you making those, types of decisions with the, situations like that, is you that has to be held accountable for. But if you're going, I mean, if you got a 3.2 going to class and everything, that's no problem. I don't see
Mm-hmm.
no problem with that. We also talked about how if back in the day when the Cowboys were winning Super Bowls and Jimmy Johnson was the head coach, and he basically was like, if Troy, Emmy, or Mike they would sleep in the team meeting. He had one of them to nudge Mike and would nudge one of them and tell them, hey, kind of wake up. And then if it was a lesser known player, the lesser known player would have basically got cut.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't see any sort of favoritism with this team with Jackson State. I see more of a you practice how you play how you practice. So if you practice hard throughout the whole week, then you got to play. You know what I'm saying? That's how you solidify your spot.
Mm-hmm.
And also you solidify your spot by doing the necessary things that you're supposed to do. Basically, going to class, sitting in the front. But he outlined everything before the season even started.
Yep, I
How he
remember that.
wanted to, how he wanted the program to be run. And if you're not abiding by what he put out, then of course you're not gonna play. And then of course there's gonna be some people that's gonna be like, well, he's playing favoritism. I'm like, dude, he sat shallow down
Yep, that's what Brian Johnson
last
just said.
season. He sat down shallow last season because he wasn't doing what he's supposed to do. I mean, it's a lot of people that he sat down shoes. Um, Nugget is
Malachi.
one. Malachi Whiteman is another one
Yep,
with his academic issues.
this is your leading
Um,
touchdown receiver from last year, and he's riding that thing.
he ride the pine hard, even though he made the trip to Memphis.
Yeah.
He still ride the pine. He has to prove to the coaches to Deion and to himself that he belongs out there on that field. You ain't seen Tony Gray out there on that field. You haven't seen um um who's another one we haven't seen that's probably there from last season. There's a lot. It's a couple of people that you had not seen that played out there on that field yet.
Yes, and
And
Coach Prime said it at the beginning of the year. I mean, to cut you off, but he said that he only had two guaranteed starters, and this is before the season started. So
right,
I guess folks thought he was bull jiving
thought he was
around with it. Thought he was playing,
right.
but from the looks of it, he's a man of standards. And again, I don't know how many folks are just now getting here. Double T, double O, just now getting there. And I stated this: if you want to build a program the way you want it to be, you have to be a man of your word. And if you don't, you're going to lose the locker room. You're going to lose recruits. You're going to lose kids in the transfer portal. So you have to kind of establish yourself. We have to. Most programs aren't established fully until year 3, year 4. This is
Right.
basically year 2. Even though he's been there 3 years, but his first season he wasn't there the entire time. He came in late, and it was the COVID year. So
Yeah,
we have to
yeah. He get
understand what's going on.
yeah. When he came in the COVID season, that was to me. I'm looking at that all around as an evaluation season. I wouldn't even. I can't even take that into consideration as an actual season being played. Even though they play, even though we play football in the spring, I don't see that as being like, you know what I'm saying, like an actual season because it was cut so short.
Yeah.
Uh, and he was only there for a short. Well, he got there in December. And he was only there for a short period of time. The football season had started in February. Then you turn around like it's not like he was sitting on his tail. Like he out there hustling, getting the recruits and getting the people to come in to you know to see what he got. And that first official season that Jackson State played football, you saw what you saw. We went 11-2. We ran through the Swac. Uh, Shador freshman of the year, he coach of the year. You know what I'm saying? We ran
Mhm.
through the Swac. We got beaten in the Celebration Bowl though, but we ran through the Swac and we did. We got the most wins in school history for the first time like that. Then he turned around, he
Yeah.
backdoor and said, "Hey man, what we did in the Celebration Bowl, I don't want to never see nothing like that again." So what he
Yeah.
do? He went out there to retool. He had to he reloaded, and when I'm saying he reloaded with heavy artillery.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He kind of did the thing with KG, and I got me a couple of nines. You know what I'm saying? A couple of AKs.
Mhm.
Got the shotty in the back. Got the pump. Yeah, he went out there and straight up reloaded, and you see the product that they're on the field now. Uh, Granted that it wasn't this the SHC wasn't a blowout, but
It was a damn good win.
it was a damn good win. They did score a touchdown on you. You know, you allowed 3 points a game
That's
for the
crazy.
first 2 games of the season.
Historic pace.
Yes, you're allowing probably like 145 yards a game as a defense.
Historic. And Coach Prime said today that they still missing 3 starters on the defense. They still missing 3 starters.
Yeah,
So it's crazy. So let me get to some of these comments. Double T Double O says I would transfer more than me just balling. He's not going to transfer. His dad has already kind of established that, and he has an extra year of eligibility, which he said his father said he'd be graduating in December. Uh, Brian Brian Johnson says Evans. I missed that. Shouty says wow.
Patron Evans. Yeah, Patron Evans ain't even out there.
Yeah. She loves D. When you're traveling, you only have to take a certain number of players. She'll be able to see a lot more this weekend. So, yeah, traveling like that is tough. It's hard. Got to get everybody on the same page. And for folks who didn't see my stream about why Coach Prime is, wanting to be done with um, classics, I think that plays a role in it. Man, traveling just sucks, and it takes away you having a home game. Here we are, week 3, and Jackson State is just now about to get their first home game because they have to play in 2 classics off the rip. Um, Also, I don't think players thought Deion was playing. That's their coach day in and day out. They know Deion not playing. But sometimes every now and then kids start feeling themselves. So especially young men, you got to kind of let them know who's
Hey,
the.
I agree with I agree with what Swack fan is saying about Nugget. Even if he don't get even if he don't get the get drafted in the NFL, it's always other avenues to go out there and make money for your craft. You got the USFL, you got the XFL, you got the CFF, you got the CFL, you got like the fan control football league. You got all these avenues to go out there to make money. You got football in Europe, you know what I'm saying, in Germany and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So you could go out there and make money and perfect your craft. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's not everybody. You know, everybody's so hung up on just going to the NFL, to the NFL, to the NFL. So, like, like the USFL going into get ready going to its second season next year. The XFL is coming into its third reincarnation,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like it's going to be a better product because you got somebody that actually wants to see football being played in the Rock because he was an actual football, a former football player.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he wants to see these kids perform. He wants to see these kids, live out their dream. That's something he couldn't, he didn't do when he was in football because he got cut in the CFL. That's the reason, but he made his bones in wrestling and in movies and stuff like that. But he want to see these kids go out there and succeed in everything that they do. So that's why him and his business partner with Danny Garcia. That's why they're so hands on when it came to these showcases that they had.
Mm-hmm.
So um, if Nugget don't get to the NFL, man, it's other places he can go to. I know he can ball. And in fact, yeah, I give you one. I give you everybody another thing. I have a cousin. He went to New Mexico State named Cedric Wilcox II. He went to New Mexico State. He is third on the all-time list in sacks for the school. He didn't get drafted by the NFL. He went up to the CFL, and he balling right now with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers right
Mm-hmm.
now. And he's been there for like 3 years now.
Yeah. Now, if you can get paid to play a sport, you have achieved the ultimate goal for every kid that ever picked up a ball. And especially from the kids who are from the hood, this and that. Your goal is always, man, you know what? I'm gonna make it to the league so I can get out the hood. But if you can get paid to play a sport, just think about a game. Your job is to go play a game every single day. That's an American dream that a lot of folks wish they can have, man. A lot of folks don't want to go to a 9 to 5 every single day. Trust me, your 9 to 5 is to go to practice, lift weights, and then playing the game on the weekend. That's amazing. Swac fan says, if anything, I think they're making sure Travis is on his P's and Q's, can have a number one recruit on the bench for nonsense. But Travis is hurt, so I don't know where you're going with that. We catch up, man. We're getting. Uh, we went to Swac fan, and Genia said it best right here. He's building it to mimic what the league is like, but I love this comment at the end. But it's also what the real world is like. If you don't if you, that's why they have performance evaluations at the end of the year. Like when I used to be in education, we had performance evaluation. If your performance evaluation was shaky, you they sending you to another school. They're suggesting, you might want to go somewhere else. You might want to do another profession or something like that. So I love that reference that you just said. Jesu Tigers, if it's disciplinary issues, Nugget not valuing his opportunity, and it happens. Every kid um, at college level is not the perfect athlete, right? I wasn't the perfect athlete. I had plenty of moments when I wasn't taking care of my business, and it cost me. It cost me years of eligibility, uh, even though I knew better. So every kid has to kind of learn for themselves. Shawty says they had a lot of Swac playing, college playing top powerhouses. Swac always plays those guaranteed games that test this year. Uh, Southern Bell, I don't want to bring that up anymore. Southern just got beat by LSU 65-30. Yeah, man. I knew that was gonna be a bad, bad, bad loss, and especially LSU coming off the L against Florida State. Southern Bell also says Nugget or anybody that makes it to the next level had what? I think you didn't finish your comment. So what else you got, Doc, man? I don't know if you're still there. Oh, why he's coming back or whatever he may be doing. Let's get to some more of these comments. There's a lot of competition for every league. Think about all the playoff teams that players going to see going to these other leagues. Nugget needs to play and show out. He has to get on the field, and from what the reports are saying, is his inability not being on the field right now is self-inflicted. Self-inflicted. Bama State played UCLA this past weekend. Yeah, and they got punished. It was Alabama State played without their starting quarterback, which is those guarantee games, folks. For folks who don't understand, those guarantee games are. That's why they call them guarantee games. That school is paying you money to beat your butt, right? And in return, we're going to guarantee you a certain amount of money, a certain amount of dollars. That's why it's called guarantee game. But at the end of the day, the transfers continue to happen to these schools like a Jackson State, a FAMU, or a Grambling, or Southern, Alabama State, Tennessee State. If the wave continues to grow, continues to move, it's going to be something that's going to, change the way things kind of work. The way things kind of work, and with Coach Prime establishing this discipline that he's speaking about, then it's going to change the culture across the board. So again, um, this is my thoughts and my speculations on certain things. And again, anybody want to join in uh, before we get ready to shut it down? I will continue to go if y'all want to keep talking about it. Can come in and rock out, share your thoughts. Uh, yeah, that was in LA, man. Perfect, perfect. Even though they got their butt kicked, that was a perfect trip because some kids. This is what I love about sports. Some kids without sports may not ever visit the West Coast. I want y'all to think about that.
Hey
Back.
man,
How you
I
back?
would say it like this: that game right there was get your money.
Yeah,
That game right there was to get your check
yeah,
and come back healthy.
yeah. That's exactly what it is. And but what I'm saying is from they got to play in a stadium that they might not ever see. Right? They got to play in the Rose Bowl. Right? One of the most historic stadiums in college football. And some kids on that team might not have ever been out of the state of Alabama. So they got a chance to get on a bus or get on a plane and fly out West Coast. Some kid on that team might have been dreaming about going to California their whole lives, and that was an opportunity that they got. So this is why I love sports. The opportunity that it provides for you to allow to see different parts of the country. Like I got a chance to go play in Tennessee. Man, I ain't never thought about going to play in Tennessee. Man, never crossed my mind as a kid going to play Tennessee. But once it happened, I enjoyed it. I at least enjoyed it being able to say, man, I got to go somewhere else. Get to some more of these comments. Okay, back to that. Southern Bell says,
Hey,
anyone that make go ahead.
I'm gonna have to roll out. I'm gonna hit you up later, man.
All right, man. Be careful.
All right.
Um, Southern Bell, anyone that makes it to the next level, they will be competing every day to retain their spot. So nothing is given to you, you got to earn it exactly. And with that comment, Southern Bell, that's basically what Coach Prime is doing right now at the collegiate level. Is basically telling you right now, nothing is guaranteed on this team. You have to go out there and compete every single day, compete in the classroom, which we know Mr. Warren, uh, Mr. Nugget is doing right now. But you got to compete on the field too, and competing uh, that includes everything, right? That includes practice. That includes classwork. That includes being on time for meetings. That means understanding your position. That means understanding the playbook. That means understanding the scouting report. Competing in sports is every single aspect of the thing when it comes to that type of stuff. Dante says, but not to make it to the NFL when you're a four-star recruit with clout coming out of high school. This is unachieving big time. If that's the case, man, uh, everybody that played collegiate sports underachieve. Dante, I want you to understand, and I want you to go back and look at the percentages. There are almost over, like 150,000 athletes on the football level. I want to say something like that. There's what, 7 rounds, 7 rounds in the NFL draft or something like that. Uh, and then each team is what, 30 teams. You multiply that, that doesn't equal 150 plus thousand kids. It doesn't equal that. So to be in the NFL, to be in the NBA, you are in the 1%. You are in the 1%. And this is what I try to get kids to understand when I'm coaching them. And I tell them all the time, all right, you might be good from the team that you're playing on right now, my team. You might be good at your school. You might be good in your district. You might be good in your city. You might be good in your state. You might be good in your region. You could be an All American. This is basketball term. But now in basketball, you're competing across kids in Brazil, Germany. That's why you got kids like Luca being drafted very, very high. You got the big kid named Victor Wembanyama or whatever his name is from France. He's a kid, 17, 18-year-old kid. He's going to be the number one draft pick in the NBA next year. So there's competition all across the world. So to say that a kid doesn't make it to the professional level, then you have to say there are a lot of underachieving people out here. It's hard, man. It's hard. I played against a lot of pros. Hard. I played against Patrick Beverly in college. Hard. And y'all see the route that he had to take. The top FCS quarterback last year didn't get picked in the NFL, and he showed up. It's a big drop off after the NFL. Yeah, man. Yeah. They need to play non-conference swag. Need more top schools like Texas, Alabama, like blue blood schools. That'd be great, Shawty. But it doesn't always work out like that. Some coaches just won't sign up for that butt kicking. Y'all seen what happened to Prairie View last year. They signed up for a game that was 2 years prior, I believe, and they ended up making to the Swac championship game. And one of the couple of their key players got hurt in a Texas A&M game. So it's tough. Not guaranteed against top FCS team. And Corner Word dropped 55 on Nevada. Um, not all those guaranteed games. Like who just upset? Texas A&M just got upset by Marshall or something like. No, Marshall just upset Ohio. No, Notre Dame, I believe. So it happens. Doesn't happen all the time. Never heard of that school, but they be balling. Um, and Corner Word is a school out here in Texas. Right? They just became D1 a couple of years ago. Swac Southern fans talk so much trash about LSU. LSU not good, and Southern will be competitive. Um, Jackson has yet to beat Bama State in our stadium since prime. They're coming into the Gump on our homecoming. Just my opinion. Yeah, but I mean, they've only been there 1 year. Coach Prime has only been there for 2.5 years, right? The COVID year doesn't count. I mean, if you can count it if you want to, but I think Alabama State played Jackson State at Jackson State last year, and I don't think it was close if I remember correctly. Bryce Johnson says, I hear what you're saying about making these games profitable if you don't get a million and if it goes to the football program. Why don't a lot of ADs what? Need to play more non-conference schools like Texas or Bama? I think they're kind of answering that question. JSU Tigers, who you never heard of, right? Entrepreneurs also compete every day. Every day, man. Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur. Hell, doing this YouTube stuff, you competing against other channels. You're competing to get your videos out. You're competing to get the YouTube algorithm to put your video over somebody who has 20,000 subscribers. Like, competition is in this world, and I don't understand why we made it. We're making it so soft for these younger folks, man. Because even even if they decide to go somewhere else, you're still competing. You're still competing. You, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go to just in a job workforce. Teachers are saying that I'm leaving and going to this, right? But you're not the only person with that idea. I'm gonna leave and go to another district, and I'm speaking about educators because I used to be in education. I'm gonna go to another district. You're not going to be the only person competing for that job. So it's tough. And only so many spots in the NFL, 255 spots a year. Thank you. I'm glad somebody brought that up. Thank you. It's damn near impossible. It's damn near impossible to make it to the professional ranks, man. It's damn near impossible. Y'all see, especially some of these kids at these HBCUs. Y'all see what that somebody just spoke about Mr. Glass at Alabama A&M, right? Marquise Bell, undrafted. He's on the Dallas 53 man roster. I don't know if he played last night. Somebody can tell me yes or no. Um, but it's hard work. Christopher Jones says Jackson has yet to beat Bama. Okay, bringing that back up. Um, LSU stumped Southern in 5 minutes. Who beat Texas A&M? Somebody tell me who beat Texas A&M real quick. Marshall got $1 million for that game. Yeah, they got $1 million, and I believe their head coach used to coach at an HBCU, was an assistant at an HBCU at one point. Any NFL career, average NFL career is 3 years. Yep, absolutely. And I think the retirement that you had to make back in the day, I think it was 5 years. So, right, you play 5 years in the NFL, you automatically get in the retirement program, in the pension program. But I think they dropped it down to 3 because there's so much money being made. App State beat Texas A&M. There you go. Thank you. Derek Lacey, what's up, my guy? Uh, but again, man, we just hit the 2 hour mark. I really wasn't expecting to go this long. I will ask if anybody wants to join in uh, before I shut it down. Please do so. Go back and find the link. Just copy and paste it, and you can come in. So, a couple more comments. If not, we're going to get ready to hit the door. So, if anybody want to copy and paste it, just come it through and come rock out and speak your piece real quick. And as always, man, I appreciate y'all uh, coming in here, listening to me. I know I don't have the best radio voice, but I'm working on it. Uh, I know I get caught up on my words sometimes, but I'm working on it. So again, the more and more I do these things, the more and more comfortable I get, the more and more these streams get better. Y'all been tremendous. I mean, absolutely tremendous. Uh, so most of y'all have been here since 2 o'clock when I first started. So I appreciate that. Really do. If y'all really like what we do on this channel, let me know in the comments by either, speaking your putting it in words or just dropping a 100 or a thumbs up. Means a lot. If you want to donate to this channel, you can hit the Cash App. If you want to do it another way with super chat or super stickers or super thanks, you can do it that way as well. Uh, but I really don't have anything else much to say. I will say, give this word of advice to the young Mr. Newman. Um, I do want to apologize initially for the way I titled this video, but if you do listen to this, I did say I think you should stay. I don't think you have any reason to leave, and a lot of things have been cleared up. And hopefully that you're correcting your mistakes and taking self accountability, as folks are saying that you're saying you're going to, and continue to work, man. At the end of the day, don't listen to the outside noise. You can listen to your parents, listen to your coaching staff, and then listen to yourself, man. Because at the end of the day, it's on you. You continue to grind it out. You continue to work hard, and you go out there and give it your best. And then you live with the results. And you can sit back when you get older, and say, you know what, I gave it my best, and I did all right, man. So that's what men do, right? That's what men and women do, but especially men. Right? You take accountability for yourself and you continue to move forward, man. So let me get to the last couple of comments. Dante says James Houston out of JSU was placed on the Detroit Lions practice squad after being cut. This surprised me, but I think James Houston is on the practice squad making 500,000, half a mil. So I can get cut. You can sign me up right now for a practice squad team and I will take that. So double T double O always coming through, man. Appreciate you, my guy. Uh, Shorty King says Swac, good. Stay pushing. Yeah, man, we're gonna try to. Brian Johnson says practice makes perfect. JSU Tigers 100. Swac fan 100. Got to get ready for work. Priest, everyone support the HBCU League Pass. Plus HBCU Gold channels. So y'all make sure y'all go find those channels. Miss Ivy too, always coming in and rocking with me, man. Appreciate you. Another banger, she says. Man, I got and Genia, man. I'm gonna next time we get on here, I'm gonna have my sound effects ready to rock and roll. So that right there, that comment by Miss Ivy too, that deserves a sound effect. I ain't even got it working. Campbell played a good game against William and Mary, who just beat the FBS team. Southern Bell said, "Dude, you're doing fine. Your professionalism and knowledge of the game is commendable. Thank you for covering HBCUs. Appreciate it. Uh, I think any team can play with the swag. If these other guys on the team not are going to sit down, then I would be doing what they're doing. So, all right. So we're gonna wrap it up right there. If y'all know me, I always leave y'all with some words of advice. I stole it from my father, but I remixed it. Uh, hey, y'all didn't tell me I never cut back on the sound effect. I mean, I never cut back on the music. So, Mr. Dejon Nugget Warren, go out there, take care of your business. Uh, Peace to you and your family. Keep working. Don't listen to the outside haters, outside noise. Keep rocking and keep rocking. Keep doing you, man. Trust me, there are many people who love to be in that young man's position. So we're going to end it right here. As always, as I say, I leave y'all with some words of wisdom. On your best day, be better. Think about it. But 20 Game Sports, I'm out. Peace.